So his nonprofit is representing the Haitian community in Springfield, Ohio, and it's now pushing for criminal charges against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, the group filing citizen charges against the Republican candidates for disrupting public services, aggravated menacing, and other counts. Now, these charges are all related to the fallout in Springfield we've been reporting on from Trump and Vance's false claims about Haitian immigrants there. Now, the filing says they, quote, knowingly spread a false and dangerous narrative like those who falsely shout fire at a crowded theater. Trump and Vance do not color within the lines of the First Amendment. They commit criminal acts. That's from the filing. Ohio law requires a hearing before this petition can go forward. And Subodh Chandra joins us now as an attorney for the Haitian Bridge Alliance, the nonprofit that filed those citizen charges. Welcome. Can I just start just with the basics on this? Because it seems, I think, to a lot of people say, wait a second, citizen charges, how does this actually work? So walk us through it. It seems rare, odd, whatever term you want to use. So let me start with that. How does it actually work?
So there are a handful of states around the country that permit private citizens to initiate criminal charges, in Ohio's case in the form of a sworn affidavit, submitted to a judge, asking that judge to affirm that there's probable cause that criminal offenses were committed, and then issue arrest warrants for the arrest of those individuals, just like a police officer might go to a judge and ask for such charges after submitting an affidavit.
First, I will continue to talk about it. Either way, we've talked about the issue. But is this just for show for the most part, or is it more than that?
Well, I think most of your listeners know that what happened to Springfield as a result of Trump and Vance's conduct was quite severe. 33 bomb threats, schools, colleges, and City Hall closed, threats to the mayor and his family, on and on and on. Hospitals locked down, a businessman threatened, festivals closed. This is quite severe. So it was making false alarms. It was disrupting public service. We've just amended the charge just as we're speaking right now to include inducing panic. So yes, this is real. I'm a First Amendment litigator and a former federal prosecutor. This is not for show. This is criminal law being enforced because the prosecutor isn't doing it.
You're adding inducing panic. Okay. Now, I mentioned in the introduction, or used the word from your filing, knowingly, that they knowingly did this. So I'm going to play a clip from J.D. Vance. This is, I believe, the 15th of September, but talking about essentially making up these stories. This is Vance.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do.
Is there legal significance in in that part of the code, if I had to create stories?
Yeah, that's what we call in criminal law an admission against penal interest. He's admitted that he knows that what he's saying is false. And I want to make it very clear to your viewers that it's not just the falsehood alone that is the gravamen of these charges, because falsehood alone, okay, fine, you can say false things. The issue is knowingly saying it and disseminating it persistently and relentlessly, even in the face of knowing the effect it's having and causing this kind of havoc. That's what the crime is.
Okay. What does the Trump side say? We had a representative from the RNC on a little earlier. I asked him about it. He said something essential, eventually, when I had to ask him a few times, but eventually he said something like this. This is the quote the Trump campaign has put out. President Trump is rightfully highlighting the failed immigration system that Kamala Harris has overseen, bringing thousands of illegal immigrants pouring into communities like Springfield and many others across the country. President Trump will secure our border, put an end to the chaos that illegal immigration brings to our community. So that's from a spokesperson for the campaign. So you see that argument. What does that do in terms? You're shaking your head. Doesn't do anything in terms of liability, because they're going to say basically, hey, listen, we're using this to highlight a failed immigration system.
They did far more than that. They committed criminal acts by relentlessly and persistently disseminating things they knew that were false, that would induce panic, and then having the kind of havoc that they did as a result. And look, there was a guy in Ohio that was prosecuted, for example, for inducing panic, where he falsely stated that a bridge had been sabotaged. And he said that to the media. He didn't even call the police saying that. He said that to the media. And he was successfully prosecuted, and his First Amendment defense was just cast away. They're in trouble. They're in deep trouble. If the court is faithful to the law and applies it to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in the same way it would be applied to the rest of us, if we have a rule of law, they're cooked.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.